Hello everybody, welcome to Lab 2, Objective 7, the final objective for this lab. Now we're going to be covering roles. Now what is a role? A role is essentially a package of privileges that you might want to grant all together to a particular user. So this is particularly useful when you have a database with lots of users that all need the same privileges. So that makes it faster and easier to keep track of who has what privileges and so on. So we're going to start off and we're going to create a role and we're going to grant it to our demo user. So we'll create the fun role because what's more fun than databases, right? And we're going to grant the create any table to the role fun role. We're also going to grant select any table to fun role, and then we're going to give it to demo. Now, here's something interesting we'll see here. So now, what we can do, let's come here, and we're going to try and run this. Now, this should work, right? Because we just gave ourselves the create any table privilege. It says insufficient privileges. What gives? I thought that was supposed to work. Well, sometimes you have to actually disconnect and reconnect in order to see those differences. So now that we've reconnected, we can select demo there. Now watch this, we'll run it again. Oh, we'll just change it to 1 because I already did this in another video. Boom, so lab crazy 1, right? So crazy 1 table in lab. So the only difference that we needed to make was that we had to disconnect and reconnect in order to see that role applied to this particular user. And then I forgot to delete the crazy table in the lab instance, in the lab connection, so we had to add that 1 as well. Now if we come back here to sys user, what we can do then is we can revoke that role from demo. Okay, now demo should no longer have this. So now if we try to run this code, and we're going to change this to 2, what happens? So we were still able to create it. What the heck happened? So now we disconnect. We're going to reconnect. We'll enter our password again. Okay. And we're going to reconnect over here. And now, let's try and create this one. Now it doesn't work. And if we actually connect to lab, we select from crazy. Okay, so this is the one that was there before. This is the first one we created. This is the one we tried to create after we were dropped. So it still worked. And you'll notice 3 did not. So when it comes to roles, what's really important is that a new session has to be created in order for those changes to take effect. So if you're trying to remove a role from a particular user and you don't want them to be able to do what they're doing, make sure that they disconnect and reconnect, because this is incredibly important, right? You could potentially have some serious issues if you were trying to revoke privileges or give privileges to a user and they didn't disconnect because they wouldn't have them when they're supposed to, or a user that's not supposed to have a bunch of privileges suddenly can still do things they're not supposed to, and that could be a potential problem. So just make sure that we disconnect and reconnect so that we can see roles granted and revoked from users. That's it. Thanks for joining me in this lab. We'll see you in the next one.